Other living documents will include what is commonly known as a living will. It's also called a Health Care Directive. It's also called an Advance Directive. They all mean the same thing. What is that document? That's the document that you sign where you say, if I am at end of life and my physicians have put in writing that I am in a terminal condition, permanent vegetative condition, that with all reasonable medical probability, no medical treatment is going to make me better, return me to an equality of life. It's just a matter of prolonging the dying process. Do I or do I not want those measures implemented? They're often called heroic measures. That document is important for everyone, regardless of asset level, because what it does, again, it helps protect the person's autonomy, their decision-making authority. It says in writing if heroic measures are desired or not. Generally speaking, though not always, people typically say, if I'm at end of life and the doctors say nothing's going to make me any better, it's just going to prolong dying process, let me pass peacefully with comfort measures so that I don't suffer, so that my family doesn't suffer. I don't know, maybe you can recall back, there's been cases that have been in national spotlight before. It's been a while, but maybe some of you recall the Terry Schiavo case out of Florida. That was a woman in her 20s, and she suffered an extreme health event where she was in a permanent vegetative condition, and she didn't, being in her 20s, I believe, she didn't have any of these documents that we're talking about. She didn't have this advance directive. So there was a disagreement between her husband and the parents of the incapacitated woman. And because of that, her health care and all the decisions and whether to give her heroic measures was in a very public forum. It wasn't just decided by what her document said, because she didn't have a document, and there was disagreement between her family. So it went up into the public eye, I believe into the Florida legislature as well, as to what the outcome of her case would be. So that's an example of one of the reasons that people do need to have these advance directives. It helps, just imagine that you or a loved one is in this terrible condition. And that's horrible to deal with. But beyond that, now your family is in disagreement as to what the healthcare measures should be. Adding that extra element of angst and upset, it's kind of hard to imagine how terrible that was for them. One of the ways to make things easier for your family in case something bad does happen to you is to have these documents in place. With these documents in place, if you say, I don't want any heroic measures, and this is the person who's going to be my healthcare agent through my durable power of attorney for healthcare to speak on my behalf, then what you would have wanted will be followed. Somebody will be your voice on your behalf. The family upset will be as a result of whatever they're dealing with your health condition, not this legal battle that would arise without these documents. And do recall that if you don't have any of these living documents in place, what happens if there is a disagreement or if you lose capacity? The state steps in. A guardianship will occur. Somebody, the court will have the final say so on your life. And that can be really upsetting and disruptive, to your family who's really impacted by that. So the living documents are very important to have. Those are your durable powers of attorney for financial matters, for healthcare matters. It can be a combined document or it can be separate, and your advance directive, which says what your end of life wishes are.